evening. I'd like to open the Conservation Commission meeting for the 19th of August, 2019. Start by approving the minutes. Anybody got any omissions or corrections?
I do.
Come on, Anna.
I do.
Don't let us down.
Not much with this one, but one. Okay, continued public hearing, notice of intent, 81 Manawanaki. The second sentence said they will use permeable pavers on the lower area feathered in with river rock to make odd corners. I would propose to change it to maybe naturalized corners.
It was more like to fill in the corners that aren't square edged, so it wasn't really naturalized corners. You know, if you have something shaped like this, you can fill it with pavers. If you have something shaped like this, you're gonna have odd corners because you can't fill around an arc.
So the river rock is okay to fill, maybe to fill the angular or okay, odd shaped.
Yeah.
Odd shaped corners.
To match existing corners.
Okay, and then, all right, and then the continued public hearing notice of intent lot 8 Masonbrook Lane. I thought that it should say the work in the 50 to 100 foot buffer zone, this is the second sentence, actually, includes the driveway, garage, tree removal, and infiltration trench. And then the last sentence, I thought they had actually proposed to move the house by 10 feet.
It was the
Agreed.
shed.
It was the barn.
The barn garage.
I'm sorry, the
in
barn,
back.
yeah. They agreed to move it by 10 feet.
They were
It
gonna
wasn't
look
just-
at it.
They're gonna look.
Or I
at
thought.
Yeah.
I thought they weren't just saying they may be able to, I thought they said they were, but
I thought they said they were too.
Yeah.
I agree.
that it was
They
pretty
do agree with
certain.
that.
that-
They will. All right.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out. in a
Yeah, he
while.
said he was willing to, so.
Yeah. That's it.
Anybody else got any omissions or corrections?
I think we're covered.
If not, can I have a motion to accept the minutes of
Make a
fifth?
motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Hey, Carl.
Good evening.
All those in favor?
Did somebody second
Aye.
that?
Second.
Yes.
Thank you.
Administrative discussion, request for an extension permit for Wellington Circle. You want to clue me in where that is?
That's Mr. Marsh.
Again. Good evening. Good evening.
Steve Marsh from Wellington. So we're hoping to get an extension on our permit, bless you, for the construction of the roadway for Wellington Drive.
This is the one off Goldsmith Farm. So, yeah, so when you were here 2 weeks ago, there was just as much a discussion about yanking the culvert. It was in the car path, whatever you call it, going back to Cooper, which, I don't know, you had out in 48 hours or something.
Yes, so it's done.
Oh.
So it's done, it looks good. It was actually pretty rocky where it was, so it didn't need to bring any fill to stabilize it, so. And, you know, a little sediment when you first do it, which you're gonna get, and then it cleared up.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. I did snap pictures of it the other day as well, so it's running clean.
Okay.
Excellent.
So how did you leave it? So you just removed the culvert and did you, is there a little dip then now or the?
There is,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
yeah. So it's, the stream's not that wide, it's probably from here to that wire. So it's pretty tiny. I don't know why there were 3 culverts in there. There were, but it's, yeah, it's running just the way it probably did before. And then those pipes were bedded in stone, so when we cleaned it out and after the rain, it looks like river rock, so it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, on my last visit out there, I noticed that the pipes were pulled, and there were some other PVC pipes in there, 4 feet long, exactly what we needed for some trails. So they agreed we could.
Yes, you can have those. So
Okay.
we'd like to get the 3-year extension if we could.
Okay.
Somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that the commission grants a 3-year extension for Wellington Circle, DEP file number 204-774.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night. Good to see you all.
So that's gonna be
Request for
2022,
certificate of
right?
compliance, 22 Cricket Lane, Mass DEP file number 204-866.
Cricket Lane is not ready.
Okay. How about request for a certificate of compliance, 300 Foster Street, Mass DEP file number 204-824.
If you remember, that's the huge septic on the hill down to the
Yeah.
pond. And these pictures really don't do it too much justice. It came in really nicely. To such effect, I've asked them if we can put them on the garden tour for pollinators that we may or may not be doing next year.
Oh.
Because so the seed mix took really well. I think it's been 2 or 3 years since it went in. So I walked it, everything's stabilized. The shrubs and stuff they're supposed to planted are about 75% there, but also the wildflowers are up here and the shrubs are down here right now. So they're only mowing it once a year. They're not mowing the shrub area, and we talked about reducing some of the mowing around the pond side of it. So it's looking good.
So you
Okay.
approve
So yeah, so I think it's ready to.
Somebody want to
be
make a
released.
motion to issue a certificate of compliance?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 22 Cricket Lane at Mass DEP number 204-866.
It's not.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. The 300 Foster Street?
Yes.
Oh, this is the one where it had all that duckweed in it, in the pond, initially?
I don't remember if there was or not.
Anyway.
Looks like a lot of duckweed.
Well, it was totally covered before.
No,
Now it's like
got a
half.
good cover.
Anyway.
Yeah, because it's the time of year anyway. So.
Mhm.
Did I get a
Anybody second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And here is that.
Wait, so I missed it. What, did we skip over the?
Yeah, that's not ready to.
Oh, that's when you said it wasn't
Yeah.
ready. Oh.
And we got goal setting, or is that something we want to take up later or not?
Let's see, what else have we got here? At your pleasure. It would just, for the goal setting, it's just, I sent around the final, probably not final, but revisions to the assistant agent description
Right.
after I went through with Ann Essman. She wanted to make sure that both the assistant was toned down, and then if this does go through, then my position would be toned up a little bit, so there's more separation between the two. So that's basically the only changes that were made in there. Bunch of wordsmithing. So I just wanted to see if anyone had any comments on that. Otherwise, the next step is they would take it to the personnel board for a rating.
I suppose we'd have to take it to the selectmen too to get their approval. If
Yeah,
somewhere-
this is like the first step. I don't know if this will get done in time to make a warrant in the fall, but at least we can get it.
Right. Yeah.
And
Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, I think a vote's probably worth it at this point now that we've gotten into the second draft.
I'll make a motion that we approve the draft language for the, are we calling it assistant town conservation agent
Yeah.
position?
I'll second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's been made and carried. Property survey needed Edwards Drive encroachment.
The Edwards Drive encroachment, I haven't been out there, but the guy's taking care of it. So his landscaper went in and pulled the stuff off the town property. So, and it sounds like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, so I'm not too worried about that part of it. And then for the actual survey, particularly over on Oak Hill itself, with a narrow little entry into the conservation land, and there's probably a tree house on town property, which per se isn't really a big deal. And I think the owner, just to say, when you sell the property, you take the tree house down before you sell it, unless you feel the need to get it off. But because it is so narrow, I was thinking we should probably get some bounds put in there. And there were 3 bids. One was just really low. And I actually asked them about it because the other 2 were closer to each other. And one in particular said, you know, there's some issue with the chain in there. It's going to take a little more look at. So I asked the cheap guys, basically, if you run into a bust out there, are you suddenly going to ask me for, you know, another $1,000? I haven't heard back from them yet. So I'm gonna look at. I just want to kick it around a little bit more than I might just go with the Jeff Brem, who did all the survey for Bennett Orchards. Anyway, so if there was a mess, they created it. They can deal with it, and they got some of the controls out there too. I think it was around $2,000. But I want to kick it around with them a little bit more and see what.
Seems like the developer ought to pick up the tab on it if we can somehow.
Oh, I tried that first. He wasn't even close to having anything to do with it. And they were never required to, so,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm gonna make a point to ask the planning board to see that this bound get put in the future.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Chestnut Lane, Lot 13 extension. Is the house on that one? Or
No,
is
that's the one in back that's not built yet. They do, the well has been installed, but, and I think the septic system's been roughed in. So Paul Gass apparently is looking to sell that lot, that back lot. And it expired, actually. It's a year expired.
Oh.
So I said I'd ask and see how the commission felt about it. I know we would love to see these things wrapped up. So, you know, I was kind of saying, well, it would be nice if the new owner could just move ahead, or technically, they have to refile. And I did tell the prospective new owner, if you do have to refile the exact same plan to make it easier. And if you need to change something later, you know, come back and do it. So, but I think that what's Kimball Farm? What's that neighborhood in there? They built the 3 or 4 houses and then abandoned it.
In Kimball Farm?
It's not Kimball Farm. It's it's Littleton side of Kimball. The village, the point, the center.
Oh, the farms.
The farms, the something. Yes, that.
Yeah.
That one was expired, and you gave them a 1-year extension because they had some extenuating circumstances. And I would say Paul Gass, with his apparent health needs, may have some extenuating circumstances. So.
Well, has he? This is beyond that bridge.
No, it's on the upland side. It's a new house with a big wall.
Yeah, the
It's
big
a lot
wall.
behind that.
Oh.
It's a driveway. It's half-assed completed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if we signed off on the house yet.
The close one, yes. That's got a occupancy permit and a certificate of compliance. Oh, wait, you know, maybe they didn't because there's
'Cause we,
a little stuff that he was supposed to do.
yeah, I don't think that got signed off yet.
I'd have to double check that.
We
He
did-
said he did. I went out. I'd have to go double check.
I don't think,
It took him a long time after the site walk.
yeah, but I think it seems like the engineer never followed through. There was
It was
some-
Jeff Hannaford, and when he met us out on the site, he said, "Oh yeah, we'll get that to that, you know, over the weekend," because it was just before a meeting.
Yeah,
And then I just never heard from him, and never got done. And then I did hear from him. I went back out, and I'd have to check the files. So maybe that one's still open also.
because I think we thought that along the edge there where the
Right.
hay bale or silt fence was, there was stuff that needed to be pulled and cleaned up.
They did clean up most of that, and I think there might have been, they got most of the erosion controls, but maybe not all of it, sort of towards the end.
Okay,
I'd have to double check my files.
okay.
I mean, my feeling is that if people need an extension, they should come in pretty close to when it expires.
Yeah, a year
Not
is a long
year.
time.
I would think you'd have to.
It's a new owner, so, but,
I think you'd have to refile.
Yeah.
Personally, but,
I agree.
yeah.
I was willing to give him the year, but
I think we've gone way out of our way for
yeah.
this particular developer.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think we need to.
Yeah, it was, and I think Jeff and I talked about this on the phone, it was a surprise to both of us, there's so much going on out there. And amendments and this and that, and they're not doing stuff, and it just, nobody was paying attention to filing deadlines.
Okay,
What happened to that guy who was kind of looking after stuff for? Mr. Gass.
I don't think they have a contract yet with Paul Gass. That was Ducharme Dillis who's doing it. Because, you'd ask for them to pay attention to stormwater stuff, not just the bridge piece of it, so.
Well, especially if there's a new owner, it would be good to have them.
Well, that's separate from this anyway, so.
Oh.
yeah. I was thinking, to some extent, with what's been going on, we should grab whatever we can as far as repairing the bridge and what have you in my mind, but that's, because you don't know where this whole thing is going, and at least that was a viable option to get something done. Not that the rest of it doesn't need to be taken care of, but it's,
I think
That's
even-
an important
yeah.
one.
yeah.
Even if they did refile on lot 13, the original filing was under the new reg, so they're already respecting the 50-foot. You've already
Yeah.
seen the project, it's not gonna change, I can't imagine, a lot from what you saw before, so hopefully, if the new owner, goes through it and it'll affect their sale price or whatever, they can. deal with
Well,
that.
yeah,
All right.
it might be easier to deal with a new owner
Yes,
at this point.
all right, I will let them know.
Okay. Other administrative updates and actions. I see we got a new sign up there on the board.
Yes?
Where do you propose to put that one?
Oak Hill?
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill. Oak Hill is a big area.
There are 3 Oak Hill signs, and there's actually 4 places where we could put it. So we can figure it out. There's the new one on Harvard Road. There's the one at Reed Meadow,
That might be
which no one sees. And
Yeah.
it's 6 paved lots, it looks private. So I think that one definitely needs it. The original parking lot, and then the newer one on Oak Hill, this new property, where the AT&T easement goes across. Because that's another parking lot, it's just kind of there with nothing on it, so.
What is it gonna, how's it
How do
gonna
you
be?
find it?
It'll be on a swing sign, so
Oh.
it'd be a post with a bar across it.
Oh, cool,
Newtown Hill has one, that was the demo one.
right.
So who will facilitate getting it up?
You had voted a budget for it, so Chris Mountain
Oh, yeah.
is gonna do the swing signs, and there's money enough in there for a kiosk also. And then Rick, Littleton Conservation Trust says that they can get, volunteers to do it. Chris Stoddard said he might be able to do some, so I think what I need to do is drive around with Rick Finley or Jim O'Neill and just spray paint where we think these things are go. Make sure Highway has no problem with any of them, and then,
Well, the other Harvard Road, scenic road too. Just throwing that out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but you need to kind of keep that in mind.
keep that in mind, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, because there'd be 2 signs on there. So, and I met with John Barbadow, who's the owner for what will be the CR at Reed Meadow, and he's fine with putting a sign up and kind of stick it behind the mailboxes a little bit, so.
Okay. You got anything else for updates? Or?
I've got a bunch that we can use as filler later.
Okay.
I think we might need it.
I guess we need to move along here. Public meeting, request for determination of applicability, 17 Lake Shore Drive, U17-204, 205, excuse me. Zero removal and replacement of a garage. Somebody want to speak to that? Come on up.
So before we get started, Dustin's the director of the Conservation Trust in town, and I'm an associate trustee of the Conservation Trust. So I'm going to recuse myself for the hearing. Not that I really have to, but it's just kind of iffy. I don't know.
I probably not at all iffy, but if you want to recuse yourself, that's fine. And you basically know everybody in town anyway. so-
They can't miss you with that tie.
So the plan's pretty straightforward. We're knocking down an existing old garage that was built on a flat slab that's so at grade that water from the backyard runs under the wall of my garage and across the slab and out into the street when it rains heavy like it did the other night. So replacing it with, proper new construction, but going higher, exact same footprint on the existing garage. And where we're connected to the house now with just a small staircase down, it's not really even wide enough for two people. Extending that so it'll serve as a hallway to get to the new garage entrance at the back of the garage instead of the front, which allows us to have a landing inside the garage where there's no, space for a landing at all now. And then so that'll connect so you can go up as well. So that new part between the house and the garage is about 6 by 20 feet, and I'll have a full foundation below that for storage area, which was partly a concession to keep the height down for our concerned neighbors in the back when we went to planning.
Oh, so the middle area was going to be higher and you lowered it?
The main area was going to be higher and we
Oh.
lowered it, but we lose attic space doing that, and so we solve it by putting a better foundation under the connector part.
So you're gonna be able to solve the water problem too? You said you had a water problem with water going through the garage and out.
Well, rarely, but now it'll have a foundation wall and proper drainage and so forth.
Oh, so you're gonna put
Just
down stone drainage, or how's the drainage gonna be?
Yeah.
around your-
Well, what happens is whoever constructed the structure put the foundation too low below grade. So the grade, the water just runs right into the garage. So we will just adjust the foundation a foot and then properly pitch the back of the yard slope as far as that goes.
To slope it to the right of the garage, or
Yes,
as you face the
exactly,
back of it?
Exactly.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
I have a picture of that area if you want to see it.
Yeah, that's not a constant problem, it's just a
Yeah, so
heavy.
you can see
rain
that
sort
the
of
ground
rain.
is too high where the door is right there, so the water just goes in. So we'll just raise the foundation up a foot and then slope it so that it goes around the side of the property, to that side of the property. As that goes.
Are you gonna have, what's gonna be at the end of that flow, when the water goes around the garage in heavy rains? Is it gonna be allowed to go into the street, or are you gonna put a rain garden in or something to stop the flow, or?
I'm open to doing whatever is necessary. It's not a problem in that area presently. I don't envision it being a problem, because as it goes that way, it has space to soak in and stuff, and it doesn't currently flow around there at all.
Okay, it doesn't,
You want to
okay.
make sure it was going through the garage.
There's all grass all in that area right there. You know,
It's all
just-
grass?
Yeah, because you gotta go 30 to 40 feet to get to the road itself, as far as that goes.
Suppose if that's not a problem, that's all right.
No.
Yeah, as you saw in the picture, I keep a boat trailer on the side of the garage. Pea stone would solve a lot of that problem too, which is pretty much what I plan to do. It's not in the plans, but that's my vision.
Anybody else got any questions?
Well, how far away is the construction from, is it the lake? Is that what it is?
It's right next,
65 was your closest point, if I remember, is that right?
Yeah, that's about right. So I think the 100-foot probably goes past the garage. I think the garage is fully within the 100 feet or very close to it.
Yeah.
Across the street is sort of a heavy slope down. It's a good 7 or 8 foot hill
Yeah.
down into there. So the delineation from especially the new water line where the lake's been lowered this year to the edge of like wetland vegetation is really, really minimal. There's not even cattails and stuff like that. It goes from lake 4 feet uphill and it's no,
And then the
wetland
garage
vegetation.
construction, you said is 65 feet.
Roughly, yeah. It's probably 20 feet from the shoreline to the street and 20 feet of street and 20 feet of garage, so it's very similar.
Will you have any erosion control stuff on site?
Yes. We use the
Wattles?
wallies, yeah, the wattles across. The one thing will be is the existing existing driveway, we'll put a wall across that, and then just, we'll need to get vehicles in, so we'll just put that back, you know, on a regular basis for construction purposes.
Does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
Determination of applicability.
Yep. Carl?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we issue a, is it a negative?
Negative determination.
Negative
Yeah.
determination for 17 Lake Shore Drive, U17-205-0.
It doesn't have a map, oh, no, it doesn't even yet. I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, DEP's actually,
Andrew,
Up
you
to
gotta
date.
vote on this because you're part of the
Oh, sorry.
quorum.
no, you got,
Oh, no,
you got 4.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I said that was approved.
Thank you.
So, will you wanna pick that up when it's ready?
Yeah,
I
when
think
will be
you're
ready?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Oh, awesome, that'd be great.
I have an 8:30 site walk, it's gonna take me a while, maybe just shoot me an email or
Noon
something.
time?
Yeah.
Oh, you want a noon time?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
All right.
Wait a minute, is there some sort of a period of time before they can start?
Not with a RDA.
Okay.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
He's been waiting a long time. There you go.
Yeah.
Continued hearing, notice of intent, 81 Manawanaki Trail, U4731-0, Mass TP file number 204-892, regrading lawn, rebuilding concrete
Yep.
wall, building new wall, replacing section of late concrete bank and installing deck over portions of the lower area.
So I met with the contractor after I woke up from passing out on the proposal cost. I came to
The disposal cost is?
the
what you-
proposal
Oh, the
cost.
proposal
I'm like,
cost.
oh, that's a big number.
What's that, about 20 grand?
Oh, double it. Yeah, so we're looking around. So one of the things that we had changed, there was a new concrete wall that was close to the deck edge. We wanted to do 2 steps instead, because we thought a 3 to 4 foot drop would be dangerous coming off the house, so we're just gonna have 2 steps.
Okay.
And then more of an incline, not flat.
So that's on the upper part?
Yeah, we just thought it'd be safer. And then I put in the erosion control as requested. He gave me a price for that. And then I created 3 planting areas in the drawings that we can go over. And then, and the last page is also a sequence of events. And basically, the concept is, water level goes down, erosion controls comes up, and then you just kind of work your way from the lake towards back, as far as what the work would be, steps would be done. And as far as the spelling on these plants, I can't, I'm an engineer, I can't spell my way out of a paper bag, so I'm hoping this is the stuff you're looking for.
I think, plant area 2, B-bomb is B-A-L-M.
Is it?
Not not
B-A.
bomb.
Yeah, I would have spelled it the same way.
I know what it looks like, that's the start.
Where is plant area 1? Do I know?
That's on, I'm sorry, it's on the first page.
Oh.
It's in the higher area, so,
Gotcha, okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so in the spring, it says remove hay and plan sod, it should plant, right?
Oh, yeah,
Plant
sorry.
sod?
Yeah.
So basically, when you get into this thing, there's no stopping.
Right,
I mean, that's,
yeah, yeah,
it's a go,
yeah, it has to be, so.
'cause once it gets all opened up, you'll have nothing but an erosion problem.
Right, right.
Mhm. Yeah, how long is the new concrete going to have to set before you regrade it, next to it for pavers?
Yeah, they could probably just leave that alone for a week and go start taking apart that, the brick wall, the concrete block wall next to the lake. And then come back to the pavers.
I was thinking you'd be just start down by the lake and work backwards.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Now, the lake level lowered for plant control in October, you aren't gonna do that, it's done by somebody else, right?
Yeah, it's done by the committee, lake committee.
And you know that's definitely gonna
They try to do it
happen?
every year, it's just last year, I guess it was so much water, rain, that there was nowhere for it to go.
Is there any confirmation that may happen this year, or?
They say they're gonna do it, I could double check
Well,
with
nothing, you don't know what Mother Nature's gonna do for it.
Right. I mean, obviously, the project's canceled if they don't want to lower the water level. I can't do the concrete, so it's not worth doing all the other stuff. I can't put the pavers down if it's not stable, the whole thing.
So you're at the whim of when they do that, so it'll start whenever that happens?
Yeah.
Whenever they lower it?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
stays
they'll
lower?
pick that day. If they don't do it in October, they won't do it at all. It's not really a fluid date, is my understanding, right? It either
Right.
happens in October or it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
They're not gonna do it in December sometime.
Yeah, they usually start at the same time and
Right.
see how long it takes.
And how long is it lowered?
Oh, it's through the whole winter.
Oh, through the
Yeah.
whole winter?
Yeah. And then,
It stays that low through
Yeah.
the whole winter? Okay.
So where are you putting erosion controls?
that,
Just down at the lake edge?
It'll be on the-
And will there be another set?
well, the erosion controls around the whole front of the house and back.
But okay, so
Wherever there's
there's not
land.
gonna be another set above the upper wall?
Yeah, the upper wall, they're gonna rebuild the concrete blocks, so they're gonna be like this high above the ground.
Oh, okay.
So they'll have nowhere to go. And then putting that hay, like you said, to stabilize it, so.
I would suggest that you had a few extra hay bales around in case we get a deluge of
Okay.
Yeah,
rain.
it's just good practice to have extra.
All right.
We had over 3/4 of an inch just the other night in a downpour.
Yeah, I was golfing.
Now, wait a minute, oh, okay. Wait a second. Okay, so this first, the Plan 1 is just of this area where you're gonna regrade,
Yeah.
like your front lawn.
And rebuilding the wall. I just try to do it at 2 different levels, and there's the steps, and just kind of basically trying to flatten that area a little bit.
So plant area 1, Clematis hydrant.
It's like right by if you look at this picture, it's like right around the shed here, I mean, the neighbor's houseboat around there.
Oh, so what are is there a fence there? I forget.
No, it's just that boathouse thing.
Oh.
That's his edge.
Because you see a clematis. Clematis is a climbing plant, so I was wondering if are you gonna
We're gonna put it up
install a
around
structure?
He's just put it on the boathouse, if I get his okay.
Lattice, probably just some
It's
lattice.
a
is
lattice.
fine.
A lattice against the, okay, that won't need insulation or anything, it's just, you're just gonna push it in?
I'll just put it next to it and, with a stick or something, I don't know. This is
fine.
Pam's category, I have no idea.
There is lattice there already.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The wall of that structure is lattice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
it's just gonna do its thing.
I can give you some weed that would do the same thing.
Yeah, I fight it every year. You should see the battle I do out of that thing.
Okay. Now, isn't plant area 3 pretty shady, if I remember correctly?
It's pretty
Or does it get?
kind of weedy looking. I don't know. It's tall stuff. I don't know.
But I mean, shady, like, does it get a lot of sun?
I don't know. There's a red maple there. It seems to be doing okay. It's growing.
Okay, because milkweed needs a, is it like a field
Milkweed
plant?
does not need much of anything.
It needs sun.
It doesn't need water, I know that.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I can
like
also look at it this
fertilizer.
way, that, Sean, you will need to come back for a certificate of compliance when this is all over.
Yeah.
And if these plantings don't take, you're not gonna get the certificate of compliance until the plantings are in
Okay.
there. So if the milkweed doesn't make it and needs to be replaced, we'll do it. Do something.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Do you need a building permit? Is any of these walls over 4 feet?
No. It's blocks.
Okay, anybody else have questions?
Because this will need a waiver also.
Has that been applied for?
It was applied for, yeah.
And just for clarification, the waiver is granted because it's a limited project, is that what we?
Well, part of it, I think the lower wall is certainly a repair, replace, and then you've got some grading and stuff going up atop, and I thought I'd started trying to flush something out here, but I don't think I've really done anything in terms of, since the walls that are falling apart and the unstable area is a source of sediment to the lake, we'll be fixing that, improving conditions with the plantings and the pavers and the rest of it.
Yeah.
So basically, we're at the approval phase stage. Somebody needs to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to issue a notice of intent to 81 Manawanaki Trail, U47310, Mass DP number 204892. Do we need to separately approve the waiver, or is it?
I do all want to, yes, I don't.
And approve the waiver in consideration of a repair and replace, and also additional plantings for improving pollinator access and health.
Your second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So I will let you know when the permit is ready.
Do you want me to send these electronically after I fix my
That would
spelling
be
errors?
fantastic. Or don't bother. And one of the conditions will certainly be that you'll need to contact me once the erosion control's up before you get started on anything,
Yeah.
which I
once-
assume will be in October.
We'll have
hopefully.
you, I'll call you before, just to check the levels or something?
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense, okay. All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Continued, let me see, where are we on time frame? Still early.
7 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Got 7 minutes. Hello.
Good evening.
I'm Michelle McDevitt. My partner and I, Paula Blanchard, are trying to build a property on 29 Lakeshore Drive. And I'm trying to determine what kind of permit before I go for my building permit that I'll need from the conservation. Much like Justin, I'm 65 feet away from some wetlands. And
You have them in the back and the front, right?
No, we don't have any in the back that I know of, unless they've grown overnight. There's some wetlands across the street on the, there's a paper road here, so let me show you here. Basically, this is the paper road, Forest Street, this is Lake Shore Drive, and somewhere off in the distance from this corner point, 65 feet, there's a small, wetland area that is there. And currently there's a house that's got a foundation and a cellar, but we're actually not doing a cellar because the cellar has proved a running flow of water. So we're gonna, some of the reasons I wanted to make sure that in my permit that I have the right types of fills and stuff that you guys would be interested in being so close to the lake, and make sure I'm addressing all your concerns about this project before I get to submit the building permit. Like, I want to know the type of permit that I'll probably need, the preliminary, overview to see if there's, any issues. We're going shorter. Currently, there's a porch there. This porch, this will be a high porch. It won't be on the ground. This one, it will be a balcony type porch. And the dwelling's a little bit smaller than what, this is the original house right here. So it's a little bit wider, but a little bit shorter, and then we're gonna have this on a slab because that's by the leaching field. With a, I think what you call a frost wall.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Do you have a septic permit already?
our septic's been tested and checked, and, obviously we'll probably have to recheck it before we start building and everything, but, it was all tested and,
It's okay.
yeah,
They
okay.
passed it, that's all.
Yep, Title V approved and all that. So we bought this house like 3 years ago, so.
So it really comes down with, would you prefer to see an RDA or notice of intent? And I was kind of thinking, since it's an entire rebuild, that you might be moving into notice of intent territory, but.
so.
I tend to think
We already had all our variances for this through the Board of Appeals for the setbacks to retain and everything. So that's already been done. We did something a little bit different because I was like, I'm not going to be chasing my tail and find out I can't build in the buildable area. So I determined the buildable area before. So that's notice of intent. All the neighbors already know that we're building this thing. I mean, they've
Are you
had two
ter-
because we let our variance fail because of deaths in the family. We let it fail and we had to redo it. So they've been notified. That was in April, the latest one. Like, I had to resubmit that whole thing. So if there's any, there's no question in the neighborhood of what we're doing.
So this would include demolishing the existing house?
Correct.
Okay, and then building within similar footprint? Or?
Yeah, the only thing that difference, this is like 1.5 feet wider.
Okay.
And this is like a foot shorter, I think. And then we have a small little area here. But we're not going into the ground anymore, so,
You're going wider, but using the same foundation?
yeah, no, not the same foundation. We're
Your
starting
new
the foundation,
foundation,
yeah.
yeah. So you're
I mean, the
already
foundation was not
underground.
savable in this house. We knew it when we built it. There's a river running through it.
Oh, jeez.
So we'll, our foundation guy, like, I want to make sure, I have the right questions to be asking him, before I come.
What happens to the water that's running through it? That's what-
Well, right now, we have a sump pump, and it pumps out to here, and in the side of the field, we've got a little bit of a, natural flower area, and it pumps out into that and keeps it natural flowered and naturally
like a
being.
Is that the
rain
rain garden? Did you put
Well,
it in
it's not a
as-
rain, no, we
Oh,
never
it's
did
not?
anything, but it's natural. It's a natural rain garden, and we tend to probably keep it that way because I like it. It's got bumblebees in it, and I don't want to touch it. I sort of like the natural, the raw look.
So are you sitting on the spring or something?
Just high groundwater?
That's.
Yeah, so right now the foundation literally, there was like a rut probably this deep, and there's water running through it, they must have had a pump, but it's all now cracked, the foundation. So you literally, where the foundation is, you're just seeing the water running in these little ruts that they built.
So are you going to have a sort of a culvert running through under your house, or?
Yeah, I'm sure the contractor will do something to divert the water and continue to divert it to this corner to what it's naturally doing anyway. I mean, that's his fill job. And we'll probably, choose the right type of fill, that keeps the water moving. but
Yeah,
not the
because
house.
the reason I mentioned the wetlands behind is that they're down
But where are
that
the wetlands
paper.
behind?
Well, down the paper road, and that other house that's behind that one. There's a wetland there. And
Yeah,
then-
but it's not on our property.
It's not on your property.
No, but it still might be within 100 feet. of
Yeah,
the
it might
property.
be within
Yeah.
100, but I'm not sure about that, but it might be.
Yeah, I thought it was beyond hers. I think it's on the other side of Mimi Bartholomew's house.
It's all behind there, it's behind that whole area. And then there's a culvert that is to the right.
Okay, so what's the ask?
Maybe also have the contractor find out how far away you are from that wetland.
You mean when I get surveyed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So where the survey's in process by Ross, and we're marking that off.
Okay.
And what would be your concern? What distance where I have to start thinking differently?
Oh, well,
Because-
if it is within 100 feet, you just have to have that 100-foot marker on your plan. And so we know how far you are both from the lake and.
Okay, so I have to do a smaller plan that covers, because the lake's way over here, sorry, about the area, and then mark here. So I just have to shrink this little drawing and show those type areas.
That would be great.
That's
Or
what I'm
have just a
hearing.
second page that has that, that
Okay.
view.
Any other concerns I should be thinking
And then
of?
address what's going to happen to the water.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry, we're
drainage.
addressing because.
Drainage.
But it
The
all
person
needs to
behind
be
us-
spelled out. Yeah.
Yeah, we might even, in there instead have some holder, or I don't know what you can do, and that's what we're talking with the contractor now about.
Oh, a sump pump, or a sump, I mean?
No, like a tank
Yeah,
or
you could-
something
there's
that holds
stormwater
water.
management
So that,
system.
for
it's-
water
it's-
management.
It's,
Water the lawn with it.
Yeah, well, exactly, I would be a total recycler, that's totally me right now. But we're working with Mimi, because obviously the person who lives behind us, we don't wanna, they already have like 3 sump pumps going in their basement all the time. I guess I'm doing better, I only have 2. But the idea
That
of
whole
not having
area
them, yeah.
It's probably a wetland that led to the lake, or.
Yeah. Well, the water runs down from the hill from Emerson because it comes through this way. You literally can see it in our cellar. It runs through this way.
So it's
And the
just
sump pump's
seeping-
right here.
So it's just seeping through the hillside, is that what it's doing?
Yeah,
It's seeping
just running down the hill.
Oh, so it's
Through our house.
overland water?
Yeah. Like after a big rainstorm, you hear them going off more often because all the runoff from the hill.
Okay, I guess you'd probably, Amy recommended a full notice of intent.
That's what you're
Well,
gonna
I'd
say.
like to see if we can, because like I've already notified all the neighborhoods. They all know.
I
They've seen
think
the
that makes
drawings. and-
sense,
Yeah, I think it does.
because it is.
Well, even if it was a
Yeah.
determination of applicability, you would still need to notify the abutters. So you still need to do that,
Yeah,
no
okay.
matter what kind of permit.
Okay, so when I'm filling this, to get this filled out, will I have to have that notice of intent completed before I can get the permit for the,
Is it the building
or at the
permit?
same time? Yeah, the
Yeah,
building
you'd have to have
permit.
the order of conditions. So not just the application to the commission, but also the permit from the commission.
So I have to get your permit before I can
Yeah.
file this?
And you can file at any time, but I can't sign off on it
Until
until the order of
got it.
conditions.
So I will
Yeah.
start filing, and then at least you guys will have drawings, so you can think
Yeah.
of other questions that you may want to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. I really do appreciate it. I really try to be upfront and figure out what's wanted.
And would Ross be doing your permitting for you? Or- And the
what
reason I'm
kind of
asking is
the-
because I'm about to go on vacation, so I'm trying to let people know that if they need to get something,
Yeah, it probably won't, you're going a week?
I'm going 2 weeks, so I'm gonna miss a filing deadline.
Oh, you're gonna miss that 27th, the day that,
I'll be here the 27th, which is next Tuesday. Or
right,
Wednesday,
so,
whatever that is.
I'm gonna, that notice, you said I'm gonna be doing a notice of intent, is what you're asking for.
Correct.
So I'm gonna come see you probably
It's
this
gotta
week.
be advertised too.
You're gonna have time to get everything in, the abutters list and the forms and all that stuff and the plans?
Yeah, the butters list is pretty easy.
Okay.
The forms and plans are
Yeah.
pretty much done. It's just, I gotta check the 27th, it's just make sure I can get the thing from Ross.
Yeah, or wherever the day is.
Yeah. So, it's not a,
Okay, just wanna make sure they know.
it's not super complicated. I don't think. Something is it? You're scaring me.
Oh, you got this, don't worry about it.
Okay. Continued public hearing, notice of intent, Lot 8,
Thank you.
Mason Brook
Yeah.
Lane. U4110 Mass DEP file number 204-891, construction of a single-family house and associated work.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello?
Seems like we were just here. That was 2 weeks ago, I guess. When we last met, we had a big discussion about the trees that were proposed to be taken out. And so what we had done, actually, you had asked for us to look into two things. And that was to, in some way, designate on the plan so it was enforceable the areas that we were not going to perform that clearing, which I've shown here. I've also shown a line here, which is the clearing limit, which I've designated here being 50 feet, as I mentioned, from both of these house corners to create this space around the house. The only exception to that I want to note is Todd went out and took a look, and there is an extremely large pine tree here, very tall, and is still within the fall zone, or the house is within the fall zone. And we're asking that one 36-inch pine to be removed right in that location.
It's
Let it
leaning,
go.
it's leaning towards the house.
Let it go.
All right. The second thing you asked me to detail on
Big
the
tree.
Hmm?
It's a big tree.
Yeah, but that pine is something else. I've had bad experiences.
I would call it a big, scary tree.
Oh, and definitely.
Oh, it's scary.
The second thing you asked me to do, which we have done on this revised plan, is we have moved the garage 10 feet forward, getting us off. Remember, we were right on the 50-foot line there, so it's given some buffer around there. So I hope you like the way I've noted that area, so it's quite bold to say that that area will not be cleared of trees, with the exception of the one.
Is that so noted on there that you want to take that down?
The one tree?
Yes.
Yes, note on it, yep.
I put one, meaning one singular 36-inch pine to be removed.
Anybody else got any comments, questions?
Just, we had recommended, putting a protection zone around the trees, and that we would bring some sort of information, so just kind of best management practices around, certain distance around the trees that are gonna be preserved and maintained, just like we talked about, so the roots aren't severed during construction. But also on the plans, it looks like you're addressing that with the buffer zones, but just anything that's marginal near the edge, you would need to, just, again, make sure they don't sever all the roots, because then a tree that was healthy might become a fall issue. So we're just
Okay.
trying to help protect the project here.
Right. I'd like to keep that, and then I'll make
Okay.
you a copy also.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for responding to our concerns.
So what's your pleasure, folks?
You want to ask about that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Todd asked me, on our detail for the erosion control, we have one of those filter socks, and we're also showing, excuse me, the silt fence as an economic issue. If you recall the site walk, this whole 50-foot berm here is really sloping up a bit before it then slopes down to the wetland itself, down in this area. We'd like to know, can we, on this area here, can we just put the wattles, the filter sock? And then along the back there, where it's more of a marginal area that does have areas that dip down toward the pond, can we put the combination of wattles and silt fence along the back? Is that?
Well, I would think that now that you're preserving the trees in clumps, you don't have to put, wattles there, just maybe in the closest area here and then not there.
If you're not working out here anymore, then
Yep.
Right,
that's
and
no
just
reason
put it,
for-
Absolutely
and
true.
maybe if possible, I don't know, along here instead, to protect the buffer zone.
Mhm.
That's what I
And
would
to
say.
show a limit of work too.
And show a
so
limit
it
of
doesn't
work.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
So if. would
Because
that be
usually
ex-
the erosion controls are in the limit of work, and
Yes.
so if you're not working in those clump
Yeah.
preserved tree areas, then
So the request with that modification is just the wattles through here, which would serve as a limit of disturbance as well as any protection of the buffer zone. But again, we would have both combination in the back here. Is that acceptable?
So just wattles on the western side around what is now the limit of work. So it'll be a little bit longer than a straight line,
Right, we'd be coming up
but
in here.
it'll be just wattles.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're not disturbing the roots then either, cutting in the silt fence.
Digging out for the silt fence.
He learns quick.
Well, thank you for that. It's, like I said on the sidewalk, we're just trying to find that compromising point, and I think that was, worked out well there.
So they have to modify the plan or write it on it?
I think I can do that as a condition.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for Lot 8 Mason Brook Lane, U41-10, Mass DEP 204-891, with one condition added, that additional condition that the erosion control be modified to show the limit of work, preserving those two treed areas to follow that line. And also, are you going to follow the line here, drawing the line of limited of work here as well, and connecting
Sure.
in with that?
Right.
So modified the plan.
Wait a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You look like you were nominated to do all the seconding
Of
tonight.
course.
Is that
Yeah, there's something going on there. I think Carl doesn't want his name recorded. Perfect, thank you. And you sent this to everybody, right? It wasn't just me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Just make
saw
sure
it.
everybody's
I
already
checked
got
that.
it.
In regard to the previous
Yeah.
presentation, I have never spoken with her. I know someone else in the office has. You need a full notice of intent submittal by the 27th.
No
I'll
problem.
see you in September. Maybe October.
Well, so you know what, get something in with a filing fee to get things going, but it's not gonna go too far without the wetlands, so.
The 47 other clients in front of her. We'll just go right around.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was wondering about that.
Have a good night.
You too.
Night.
Continued public hearing, notice of intent, 11 Middlesex Drive, Matt, U15-136, Mass DEP file number 204-896, replacement of failed sewage disposal system. Somebody want to speak to this?
That was the one that I think you were basically all set with, but I wanted to double check the wetland delineation.
Yeah.
So I met Matt Morrow out there and found the flags that I couldn't find before. We poked around the soils, and the delineation is fine by me.
Okay.
So I think it's probably ready for an order of conditions.
Okay.
And he would have been here for this and the 5 Scott Road, but the engineer's quite not done with 5 Scott Road, but more to the point, he is, as Julie is running a fever like 102 and may or may not have Lyme disease, so.
Oh, no.
I know it's not contagious, but the fever, I don't know what it is, so that's fine.
She said she has a sore throat. Can you get a sore throat from Lyme disease?
No, Matt is just a fever. Apparently, I didn't really talk to him. He just said he's not gonna be able to make it.
Mm.
So basically, it's all except just need a motion to approve.
Did this one require a waiver as well? Was it within the 50?
I forget. Pretty sure. Yeah, actually, it absolutely is. Yes. It's just for the replacement septic system, so
It's a health.
health and, yeah.
We'd have to issue order of conditions for that one, though.
With a waiver, yep.
I'll make. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah,
I will make a
don't be
motion.
good.
I'll make a motion that the commission issue an order of conditions for 11 Middlesex Drive, DEP file number 204-896. I'd also make a motion that we issue a waiver for the 50-foot bylaw along with the order of conditions.
Do I hear a second?
Well, just that the waiver is under the public safety, no. the
Public health.
Public
Yeah.
health.
So added.
Okay. I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I would like to know why Mr. Finley is here.
I was downstairs.
Oh, okay. No business with the Conscom, just, oh my God.
You're just camping out or what?
It's cool here too.
Yeah.
that's true.
81 Manawan.
Talk more about how he's gonna hang up that sign.
Oh, here's Mason
Oh, yeah.
Brook.
Mason Brook.
So Scott Road, we continued.
Yep. And here's 11 Middlesex.
So actually,
Yeah, we got 20 minutes to go.
yeah.
Sure you don't have anything, Rick?
Was that?
Sure you don't have anything?
Well, the orchard parcel,
Yep.
we were exchanging emails today. Is the Conservation Trust, because we will be somehow coming up with the funds for that?
My understanding is Mary and Jeff had donated enough money.
There is some residual leftover funds there, probably not the 2,000. but,
Okay.
um,
So this is the invasive species clearing of the Nagog
Yeah.
orchard parcel, which is
It
maybe
was in
another,
a- it was in a stalled position. We have a good contractor now with a good machine who can
get some of the bigger stuff.
finish it off for us for $2,000.
Was that the one we walked a long time ago, that,
Yep.
down the hill with the wall?
We walked it with the
Oh,
selectmen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, with the selectmen.
Okay.
So this would solve the problem. I have a trust meeting coming up Wednesday night. If we can figure out how to come up with the funding for it. If it's not available for
Yeah.
us any other way. We might be able to move forward with it. They are not that busy right now. They just become a little bit busier and as time goes on, so it might be good to push it forward quickly.
Yeah.
It's
Seems to work for everybody.
It's too bad because if there wasn't like terrible urgency with this project, maybe we could have done like a CPA thing for it. Something that way, but
Well, there was someone who donated money for at least the first half of this.
Right.
If not, I can't remember how much they put in, what's been spent. So it had seed money basically to get it moving.
And we might be able to raise more money. There's a lot of people that are interested in it. We could do a fund, one of those online fund things.
Oh, yeah,
I
fund me.
could probably come up with the money just like that
Yeah.
if we needed it.
Well, let me know. So I assume it's already got the order conditions for it. So as long as nobody's asking for money, they can just go ahead and do it. But if you need to come back for money, you need to come back for money.
I don't think we want to slow it down. We'll figure out where the
Yeah.
money's going to come from.
But do you think it can be put off until like mid-late September when I'm back? Or can you do it next week? I mean, I don't know what.
Probably could do it next week.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we walk it, and I want to be here when he does it.
Okay.
So I'd rather he didn't do it when I was away.
Yeah. Or I'm away. I just
Yeah.
been here too.
Yeah.
This is just doing from the street through the island. The other side would not take very long. And as long as the machinery's there, it would be nice if we could have some backup money to tell them, do it, just do the whole job.
Yeah. Well, as you're looking from the road down the site, there's some leftover pines and willows on the right side.
Yep.
And I think that's about it in there. So I had flagged some of those willows to remain. So I don't know if we're, and then down, as you go straight down to the island, you start running into some of the little hickories and stuff like that,
Mhm.
that were probably worth saving, so.
Right, but I think in terms of maintaining this is going to be like Cloverdale. We just want
Yeah.
to keep it as open as possible so we can run a brush hog through there easily. And ideally get the backside down too, because the backwoods there are really clean. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you can just clean up that part, it's going to make it a lot easier to deal with everything on both sides of the street up into Sarah Doublet.
Yeah, so it's a mixed thing, being able to get in there and mow versus leaving some stands of trees or bushes for wildlife habitat.
Yeah, and the willows, I'm not sure they're not invasive.
Yeah, have you checked that? I didn't, because I thought they were black willow, but I never, and I'm not gonna be able to key it out, I bet.
But, yeah, it's a difficult species to actually, you need somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
They're willow, yeah.
There's a native one, but the non-native one is a real problem spreading around.
Do you know anybody who could verify what that is in there, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm sure I do.
Yeah.
If I can get them to go look at it and get them some samples.
Because that'll make a big difference too. Because there's some big willow clumps in there.
Yeah, they're just clumps though. I just
Yeah,
get them.
and if they get mowed, they're gonna come right back as soon as it's left alone, so.
I know.
Yeah.
And they're gonna, but if they're the spreading variety, they're just gonna be all over the place. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Are
great.
you permitted to talk to us a little bit about Cloverdale? How's that project going?
That's going fine. The boardwalk, Jim and I were making great progress with it, and then we had the rain the other night. And the 3 sections we were working with are all underwater. So we have some new material arriving. The Findlay curse, I had to order some pipe, 8-inch pipe. What did I do? I ordered a 12-inch pipe.
Well, maybe we need it now.
Well, the stuff from Steve Marsh is 12-inch, I think.
We went and picked those up today.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you take really long 8-inch ones? I don't know if you cut those with a chainsaw, they're just
I don't
too.
think we want those.
Yeah,
anyway.
okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
that's moving along fine. Yep, I'm very, very hopeful. That
This is the portion in the woods that
We're in the
flooded?
portions of the woods now. We've got the basic 400-foot boardwalk done.
It's amazing.
Except for the handicap rail on the side. And the kids, I think, are coming Thursday to continue drilling. We've had some kids that have been wanting to help, so we've just pinned down the edges and then send them down the middle with their screw gun.
Well, if you guys need any toting, hauling or anything this weekend, I can do that too, so I'll touch base with Jim and see what's going on, but if you're out.
I think we're all right. I think we're all right. Yeah, I'm gonna be heading back to camp by the end of the week, but
Okay.
things are moving. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Oh, and Rick, for what it's worth, if we have any money left over from the boardwalk fund,
Mhm.
she did say that we can put that towards the kiosk.
Oh,
So even if it's a few hundred, it's,
sure.
no, so we'll see how it falls. But
Great. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Rick. Okay. Would you like to hear more? So I will be on vacation. I will not be here for the next meeting, September 9th. And I'm actually going to miss a filing deadline, which I usually try not to do, which is like September 11th or something. But Cheryl Phil, some of the senior volunteer hours, Cheryl Phil is going to be able to keep doing minutes, which she's been doing. So you'll have her perfect minutes. Very long, but perfect. And I also have someone coming in an hour a week right now, Elaine Olson, to help with filing and paperwork type stuff. So because the filing had backed up, that's all she did today, was an hour of sorting, not even filing. And just also FYI, I've been going out to Fort Pond. A couple people have to cut down some dead hemlocks that are threatening roads and sheds and wires and stuff like that. And a lot of the hemlocks on the hillside back there, Sarah Indian Way and back up in there, that whole hemlock stand, I think, is on its way out. So you might see a lot more tree cutting going, or just falling going on in there.
Woolly adelgid?
Yeah.
It's a lot more than that. It's like, it's just all hitting, yeah.
Yeah. And those are big, old trees.
What else is hitting it?
Like needle casts, tip blight, elongated, just an elongated scale. There's just, it's a lot of
Really?
things, yeah.
Are those all
I didn't realize there's all
invasive?
that.
Are those all coming up from the south, or are they foreign, like invasive species?
Some invasive and some, and it's just climate change.
Oh,
Like a
they're
lot
just
of-
getting more vulnerable. And,
Yeah, a lot of the conifers and things are just kind of getting phased out, you know?
Yeah.
Things are changing.
Yeah.
It suddenly occurred to me that the Japanese knotweed over by the library,
Oh, yeah.
it would be good to get that treated this year.
Yeah.
Oh, he left. Rick was talking about that. Did he ever fall through?
He and I have been going back and forth on it, and Chris Stoddard seems willing, because they do have some licensed applicators. So even if it might not be, it's certainly not going to be 100% effective. If we do a spray this fall, it might help if they really do go into construction next year to just start beating it down. However, it also occurred to me, I have to go back in there and double check. I think it's in the buffer zone. Which means I'm going to need to submit something for that. So you may see something. And I won't be here to talk about it. Bob can submit it. So it would literally just be to do the initial knockdown of those things, and there'll be more to
You
go.
gotta
But
get started on that.
Would they be willing to like dig out some of the, the storage roots underneath?
That's kind of a long-term discussion with the library, but no matter what you do, you want to do it early treatment to start killing as much as you can, and they're probably going to do it after that. So, I mean, Wicked said the best thing to do is inject it.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
You would. Give him enough time.
Well, exactly.
Just chipping away at it.
Exactly. Sudbury, did I mention the Sudbury Valley trustees?
No.
We'll have a AmeriCorps, TerraCorps people working for them, and they'll be putting out an RFP to see if we need could use some of their hours. And I was thinking either they might be able to help with some of the pollinator stuff, either meadow management or public outreach, or invasive species, and what Rick has started with some of the mapping of invasive species and/or public outreach. So I don't know if anybody has any particularly strong feelings
I think that invasive is a great
Definitely,
idea.
yeah.
which way to go.
mapping.
So
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't know.
yeah, because they're starting. They have a pollinator initiative as well, which might cover what we want to do. So I'm going to call them. They're willing to talk. Sometimes people want to talk before they issue an RFP because they want to talk to everybody, and just ask her what she thinks might make most sense for them, and see if we can get some help.
I know in Westford they've used them with the land trust anyway, checking on like CRs, doing that kind of stuff. So that might even be helpful if.
Yeah.
They'd have to have compass and orienteering experience.
They have cell phones now. They don't need all that stuff.
Oh no, the people that go out, they're pretty good.
Yeah. Well, they taught us that little course. Yeah. Which I totally forget. I don't know if there's any if it's worth doing this Tree City USA, the Arbor Day thing.
I think that
because they have small grants every now and then, don't they?
Yeah, and just to again, the concept of educating the population. If that starts coming to the forefront, then more people are going to think about trees and urban forestry. So Tree City USA, there's certain requirements that need to be met. One of which that a lot of communities get scared off by is a kind of $2 per capita commitment to tree stuff, planting, maintenance, whatever. And when you actually sit down and look at like a DPW's budget, there's a lot of money that actually is going towards tree work in some aspects. So it's easier to get than people think sometimes. And
and that's actually what triggered it in my head, is because Littleton Water has the tree giveaway thing.
the shade tree. Right?
Which is when I sent around the email to you and Corey, and Corey said they were actually starting the application.
Yeah.
Although I think it's like way at the bottom of somebody's pile.
Well, there is a new tree committee coming, so maybe that'll help.
Well, is there a tree committee coming?
Oh yeah, there's some members being voted in.
That's the shade tree.
Shade tree committee.
Yeah. Yeah, does that count
It's
as
a good
a?
start. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure, because the tree warden is the highway director. I wasn't sure how all this stuff
Yeah.
falls together and what counts.
And there's DCR does have like a qualified tree wardens sort of class that can be put on to,
interesting. Yeah.
to help with skill building. And I just think Littleton in general just seems kind of ripe for development and education of the tree programs, getting people on board. It's a lot of reactionary stuff where people just look at, what the highway department's doing in the trees and they're like, oh, they're killing all the trees, and people get mad. It's like, let's get out in front of it, do education. That's kind of our thing. We're pretty good at it, and just communicate with people about the benefits of trees, why they should be retained, and what we can do, and then what programs we offer, like the tree giveaway program, and what the shade tree committee is going to be doing in terms of plantings, and the giveaways they do in the schools.
It would be nice to educate the people too that it pays to get rid of trees that are rotten inside too.
Yeah, it's safety.
And
safety
replace
concerns.
maybe replace those
Dead trees are good too, though.
Right, without sanitizer, but having protection, and then the tree protection zones.
Right,
Just incorporating that more into the work that's being done. People not thinking that, okay, we just drove the bulldozer across to all this, and now the tree's, showing signs of stress. I wonder why that is. It's like you just suffocated it and strangled it and deprived it of water all at the same time. So I think it's just a lot of misinformation or lack of education on the benefits. And as things get hotter, having more shade around is going to keep the community cooler, and we want to retain that, especially as we get more impervious.
So I noticed that their application page is actually down until towards the end of September anyway. So I'll probably just, if the water department's really willing to do kind of the heavy lifting on this, I'll just support them. Or if they really drag their feet, so I can step in some more. So they have a similar thing for something called Bee City, but we can think about that later. It's a little goofy. I don't think I want to go in front of the Board of Selectmen and say, let's be a Bee City USA.
Bee City USA.
Not ready for Tree City, sure.
Is that more like pollinators, supporting pollinators?
It's kind of similar. You get to put a sign in the town. You have an education thing, and stuff that we could do very easily, and I kind of want to do anyway. So, but
maybe we could name it something else.
Pollinator. Bee sounds yeah.
Yeah, because bee is pretty limiting.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'd like to support wasps as well.
Andrew, do you think we could get CPA funds for mowing Mary Shepherd? Or do you think Sam will be able to do that?
I think Sam will probably be able to do it under the senior tax.
Yeah, because he is signed up. I just don't have his contact information.
Okay, I can certainly talk to him about it.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's any way, because he just uses his equipment, right?
He does, yeah. I think there was something that he can bill for gas for the machines.
I asked Liz about that, and she said no.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if he's getting something for using his equipment.
In years past, I think the old director did give him something.
Yeah, you see, I think there's new stuff going on. So just check with him and see what he says about it. All right, thanks. That was all the extra I had.
All right, we're just about there.
Pretty good.
Are we waiting for them to come in for this, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
For Turkey Farm?
I was going to say, if it's just a discussion, we could do it anytime, but if we're waiting for them.
Yeah, they have some assets. Oh, the only other thing was, the Tehadawon Meadow doesn't have a name.
Oh.
So I don't know if at some point you want to give it a name and hang a sign on it.
Hey.
Like Tehadawon Meadow. I always kind of called it Long Lake. It is sort of part of Long Lake, but it might deserve its own name.
Wait, you mean the part between Prouty and...
Between Tehadawon and Harwood?
It's the triangular piece of land.
It's a little triangle.
Oh.
You know where Holly Park is? It's at the very corner of Harwood and Tehadawon, and then the field in back of Holly Park is all this unnamed field.
And it's not part of Harley Park, it's a separate.
It's a separate, because Holly Park's trust and the field is town-owned.
I see.
You actually realize that the Brown family owned part of that property.
Really? Well, that makes sense.
I'd like to see a map of it.
But Mrs. Hobart owned a bunch of it, and but Wilbur Brown owned some of that.
I've seen like the old pictures from the 30s at that intersection. It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything there?
No, it's all just flat. We should name it because it's just the field on Tehadawon Road.
Every time I mention it, I have to say, that triangular piece of field isn't doing anything.
I know, we can make it pollinator field, and then it could be the start of
Yeah, there you go.
pollinator city.
Yeah.
Pollinator place.
Pollinate, whoa.
It's got a name.
Let's go.
8:50, project updates, Turkey Farm. Is somebody gonna speak to that?
Is that what you're here for, or are you
Just listening.
just listening? Okay.
Come on in.
Did you guys clear the docket right here?
Can you believe it?
I was looking at the agenda, I thought there'd be a crowd outside.
We had somebody back out.
Oh, okay.
So,
So wanna come up and speak?
so you're on?
You guys ready? Oh, yeah, fine.
Are you waiting for Brian, or is it?
No,
just-
Brian's, he has a conflicting hearing in Lowell tonight, so. I just came, he asked me to come and give you guys an update on the restoration plan I had prepped. So for the public record, my name is David Cowell. I'm a senior wetland scientist with Hancock Associates here on behalf of the applicant. So what are you guys looking for from me? Do you guys want an update on the plan that I gave you, or?
Sure.
Yeah, so they had submitted the Farm Pond restoration plan, which looks fantastic, as well as an update on the wetland mitigation.
It's sat with Brian for a long time.
And invasive, yeah.
All right.
I tell them the date.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna, I also gave you guys another monitoring report, but that was done late spring, early fall. It did confirm that a lot of those small shrubs and trees around the pond had died following the prolonged inundation that they had out there. There's maybe 20% of them are still surviving. All the other ones they didn't exhibit any foliar growth and just for all accounts dead. So I prepared a planting plan that I used a lot of the same species that are really more flood tolerant species. There's some of the species that survived in there are willow. It's black willow, but I propose to put in some long-beaked willow, which is another facultative. What's that?
There was just some trees that were willows near the Sarah Doublet or down gradient from Sarah Doublet that need identifying.
Oh, yeah?
We're just not sure if it's an invasive willow, and I can't get there. On a
Yeah, no, it's easy. It's easy to just say salix species.
Yeah. It's wet.
If it's if there's plants on it, take a photograph. Show me the leaves on it.
We'll haul you back in, and I'll bring one in with me.
Right. Good. Oh my God, I've had hearings stacked on hearings.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But common buttonbush, that's another species that's very flood tolerant. You usually find those around the edges of ponds with their root structure actually in water. And then some dogwood, speckled alder. Some of the speckled alder there made it. That's another great species. And some highbush blueberry. And then I also gave a planting schedule for some herbaceous plant species to go in well, just to supplement what's already there on the ground. Looking at the farm pond, the one side that wasn't wetland before, that's it's again, that's all reed canary grass. There's not much to do about it. But on the opposite side of the farm pond, which was under a lot of standing water, there is it's pretty good looking wetland back there. Aside from, I think there's a couple of purple loosestrife, and this has all been subject to Pateri has been doing the invasive species removals. They've done a couple, and I think they have a few more to go. So I haven't seen it since they've done their treatments in there. But the plants that we are putting in, very common, but good quality species, boneset, swamp milkweed, woolgrass that I think would thrive in that area. And then an application of New England wetland seed mix from New England wetland seed, which is just for good measure. We'll give it a broadcast seeding of that. And that just, it's already vegetated in the herbaceous class, but it'll add some species diversity in there and beef it up. But I'm really here to field questions if you have any.
It all sounds great. I can't even talk.
When?
Great question. So that's it's really an us to lean on them. If they're going to do it this year, I'd say the next 5 to 6 weeks tops. I wouldn't have anything in there after the end of September into October. So I'll talk to Brian, ask him to coordinate with Dave Guthrie.
It'll all be done by hand, not
No equipment.
excavator or anything?
Yep. All the dead trees that are in there will be removed at flush with the ground. We're not offering to take any roots out. I think it would cause too much disturbance. But I think.
I mean, do you need to take the dead trees out?
We could leave them, I mean.
Leave a couple in there?
What was the planting caliber?
There weren't many, I mean, they're all less than like such as DBH. They're all small. I mean, these are shrubs and trees that are up to a height of about 12, maybe 15 feet in height. So there's really no trees that are in there. It's all, for the tree species, they call them saplings. But,
Maybe leave a couple.
yeah, we don't have to take them all out. Sure, and I mean, even dead trees and dead shrubs will turn into thickets, which is good habitat for mockingbirds and some bird diversity in there.
Yeah,
as
birds
well.
really like the
So-
dead trees.
Yeah.
That's where I saw like 10 or 20 black-crowned night herons in there.
Yeah, just roosting around there.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah, they were happy.
Yeah. Yep, I flushed a few out of there too. So, yep, and the new trees that I'm proposing would be just a little, from where the dead ones are, they'd be about 10 or 12 feet out from those, around those, just given the, I think that even though the pond's returned to pre-existing conditions, it's still a little, prone to high water there, and I think it's just come out a little further, which, from an ecological context, doesn't really make a difference. Just makes a bigger stock pond.
Gotcha.
So, and that's it. So I'll talk to them about, and I'll also find out if, I hope Dave Guthrie doesn't have any reservations about taking dead shrubs out there for aesthetic purposes. I mean, we're gonna have trees surrounding that area anyway, and I think his whole intent was to keep people out of there, by not having kids falling into a pond and getting stuck in a roll, so.
Take care of that.
Planting that.
So that would be, I'll follow with Brian, and, I'll press the schedule, that, if it's gonna be done this year, then, the next 5-6 weeks, by the end of September. I'd suggest nothing into October.
Is that a commitment?
Well, I have to find out if it's to be done this year. So that's,
It's been, what, 2 or 3 years?
right, so
Yeah.
that's, yeah. So let me, I can't make a commitment on Dave's behalf, but that'll be my
Yeah.
suggestion, and he better have good reason if he comes back to you and says, I can't do it by the end of September, it has to wait until spring. He better,
Would we
Yeah.
have some timeframes that'll be lapsing if they don't get it done, that they need to file for?
the other thing on the agenda, Brian did say that there were a number of extensions he was.
There's a bunch of extensions and certificates of compliance also, but the pond is really under the roadway order conditions, which I'm pretty sure it was already extended.
All right,
Yeah, because that was earlier than the houses.
so we'll verify that we're still operating under an open order. of
Yeah, you
conditions.
better check that,
Still-
'cause you
Yeah,
better be
I'm pretty sure
pushing the
that one
limit
was.
on that.
Okay, yeah, checking on that too.
But Brian did ask for,
He sent it to me this morning, and of course, I didn't have time to look, but I had the,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extensions, which are mostly for houses that we're still kind of waiting for stabilization for certificates of compliance
right.
on.
I printed the cheat sheet that he gave
Yes,
us with
yeah,
with the
which I
table
thought
that
I had
has,
too,
yeah, it looks like seven file numbers, 7 lots. think so.
Yeah,
1, 2,
so
3.
there were, and then there's, I think, 3 certificates of compliance. One lot, lot 16, which is not gonna be built on because that's the entranceway up into K now.
Okay.
Lot 13, which is just barely in the buffer zone and is fine. And lot 15, which I had questions about. I was out there
All right.
today.
Yep. He instructed me that if there's any questions pending on things that I can't answer, that he can, that, to just defer that either he'll be at the next hearing or answer questions for you in the meanwhile.
Yeah, so these don't expire until September 22nd. He's already got the applications in.
Okay.
So if you wanna kick the can down the road.
You should be back by then from vacation.
I will not be here on the 9th.
No, but the next, the
The one after that,
22nd.
yes.
It's not the right. 23rd.
Yeah, I'll be back for that meeting, but I won't be very smart. Let's just say. So I don't know if it's worth trying to get some of these off or just wait until
Why
Brian's
don't we
here.
get some of them, so if you've got them ready,
Well, I guess one question is, are you willing to go with the extensions? Those are pretty straightforward, 1-year extensions is what they're asking for.
Just for establishment of vegetation?
Let me think. Lot 13, 10, 30, yeah. One of them was, I think it might have just been Sarah that was on the sidewalk, I can't remember at this point. The new owner had put in sort of a bark mulch garden right on the open space line. We just need to get a hold of them and tell them, knock it off, basically. And there was some people mowing a little bit too far. So everyone has stopped doing what they're not supposed to be doing, haven't got in touch with that one house, and then we're just waiting for some slopes to finish growing. So I think they're very close. It's not as if these houses in particular, anything terrible has been going on. And then for the certificates, 2 of them I think are very easy. One is a invalid order of conditions because it's never going to get built, and one is it's in the buffer zone of the farm pond on the other side of the road, and it's maybe 10 feet inside the buffer zone of the pond. So, and it's all stabilized. Your call.
so what can we take, let's take care of some of it and get it behind us.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to issue extensions for, I don't even know what to say.
204-800.
204-8, but it's not even listed here, is it?
I think I just did a whole run in there. I did 797 through 817 because I wasn't sure what he's going to be asking for. So I did all inclusive in there.
Okay, I thought it was the, oh, okay. Wait, so the project updates are also the request for extensions?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So I'd like to make a motion to issue extensions for,
You want me to just read them out? It's
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
204-800, 204-803, 204-804, 204-809, and 204-814, and 204-811.
okay, as spoken.
So moved. For 1 year, yep.
In Brian's cover letter, he had lot 16, which was 816. I don't know if that was in there.
That's for the certificate of compliance.
Okay.
Not
Oh, right, that's the other, okay,
Right, yeah.
gotcha. All right.
So can I have a motion, or
Well, Anna moved it.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, so let me get the paperwork on that. Okay, there's 13. Well, that's good, because I spent all day doing paperwork on this stuff.
How have you guys been? Yeah. This summer in particular.
Good. Yeah. Wetland delineations.
Yeah.
Good business.
I got a question for you.
I finally picked up a fun job where we're doing some rare species stuff out in Southbridge. Question for me, James?
Yes.
Yeah.
Flea-Lane daisy, is it poisonous?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's, I know it's in the aster family, but I don't know about toxicity. For pets or for
Hayfield,
hayfield? Oh, for cows and stuff?
yeah.
I don't know. There's only a few species that I've read either through Go Botany or something that have toxicity or cause intestinal distress in cows. But
I
haven't
know.
heard anything about
Google.
Yeah. Go Botany is a great website through the
Oh, yeah, I've seen
New
that.
England. Well, it was New England Wetland Plants. Have they changed themselves to Native Plant Society or something?
Wildflower.
It's
Oh,
more
we know.
Yeah. But before hitting the technical keys, that's a great, just quick online resource.
So the next piece of paperwork was issuing a certificate of compliance for 204-816, an invalid order conditions, because it's never gonna be built. And it has to be called an invalid order conditions, there's no other choice.
Do I have a motion to, yeah, and also comes in purple too.
I'll read what it says.
Great.
Is that Google or Go? Is that Google or GoBotany?
It's wagwalking.com.
The first one that came up, right?
Yeah, it's the first one that came up.
Sounds pretty credible,
It
right?
says, can cause acute liver and lung damage,
Well, you might want to double check the source too, but.
gastrointestinal distress when ingested for, it looks like for dogs, you know. That's what it would be for dogs.
What's the name of it?
Daisy
Fleabane,
Fleabane Daisy.
Mentha peludium.
No, that might, because I think that's in Newtown Hill, that might be why Dan's not mowing that. I know that there's fleabane in it. It, I don't know how many of the fleabanes are, but anyway, we digress.
It's toxic to dogs, cats, and horses.
Okay.
The ASPCA says that.
Oh, do we need a motion?
Yep.
Yes.
Lot 16.
It was for file number 204-816, issuing a certificate of compliance for an invalid order condition since the house will not be built.
So moved.
Anyone have a, give me a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's that. And then the other one is DEP file number 204-800 for a complete certification. It's a stabilized, that's the one, the lawns across the road.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I love those so moved.
How about a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Did I get the certificates of compliance, or the extensions back? Okay. I was gonna get you to sign a bunch of blank ones in case I missed them up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extensions. Does that sound right to you, Dave?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think on the top it said what ones needed extensions in the text.
Right, it said, request certificates for 3 lots, 13, 15, and 16. And then 1-year extensions for 6 lots. Wait, why does, he has 13 and 15 on both of these.
Actually, I think,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, just read.
15 was, I think, in there in case they didn't get the
Right.
certificate. So
It's the first 2 sentences, paragraph.
extensions 10, 13, let's make sure I got it. 10, 13, 15, 23, 25, 30. Yes. Oh, there goes my day. And I had nothing extra?
I was wondering what the gentleman in the back was here for.
I'm done.
If there's anything else going on, somebody wanna, you all done?
We're good, yeah?
All
I'm gonna
right.
make a motion to adjourn.
So you should come more often.
I know.
Tell Brian.
Hey.
Tell
I'm looking
Brian
at the
to
agenda
clean
and
up
I was
his
like,
mess.
oh my goodness, yeah. I know, he always sends me into covers, but, take care, guys.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Bye, guys. See ya.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.